Today we are going to discuss the lesson formula. This lesson is important for all three grades, which is grade 9, 10 as well as for the O-level students. This is an important chapter because most of the basic things will be covered in this chapter, which will help you to do lessons in the upcoming chapters. When we take formula, we discuss two major sections here, which is subjecting a term in a given formula and the substitution. So let's discuss what is this subjecting a term in a given formula. For example, if I take a formula like v equal u plus at, currently the term v is subjected, which means the term v stays alone, which is stay alone, and the remaining terms are on the opposite side of the formula. So when I say subject a in this given formula, which means what I should do is keep a along one side and take all other remaining terms to the opposite side. So if I rewrite the formula, which is v equal u plus at, I cannot remove the term t at first. Therefore, what I should do is I must take the term u first. In order to do that, I need to see how these terms are connected with each other with these mathematical operators. So we use the mathematical operators plus, minus, division, and the multiplication. So we follow the rule. When we take a plus value from one side to the other side, that changes to the minus value, which means, for example, we'll say plus a. When I take it to the other side of the equation, it becomes minus a. Similarly, a minus value, if I take it to the other side of the equation, which becomes a plus value, which means if I take minus x to the other side of the equation, which becomes plus x. Similarly, division, when I change it to the other side, that converts it to multiplication, and multiplication, when I change it to the other side, it becomes division. So let's look at this question. V equal u plus at. So when I take u to the other side of the equation, which is a plus value, so then it changes it to minus. So I must write the formula as v minus u equals at. Now let's look at the right side of the equation, which is at. At means a multiplied by t. Since I want to subject a in the given formula, I must take t to the other side of the equation. So which is connected as a product or as a multiplication. So what happens? The whole term v minus u I must divide by value t. So the right side of the equation remains with a. As a standard form, we write the subjected term in the left side and the remaining terms on the right side of the equation, which is a equal v minus u t. So this is the answer with the subject of A. So let's look at another example. Let's look at another example, y equal mx plus c. In this formula, the term y is all subjected, so I'm going to subject x in this given formula, since when we observe the right side of the equation, we can find m and x is connected together. Additionally, c connected as a plus value. So as I mentioned, so first I am going to remove the value plus c. So the plus c becomes minus c when I take it to the other side of the equation or the formula. So I must write y minus c equal mx. So according to the previous example, this also connected as a product, as a multiplication, m and x together. So when I take m to the other side of the equation, the product or the multiplication changes it to division. So y minus c whole term I divided by m and remains with x on the other side. So now x is already subjected, so I rewrite x equal y minus c over m. So this is another similar example, which is something we did with the previous question. Let's look at another example as, let's say, b square equal u square plus 2as. So in this formula, v square is subjected. Let's say I want to subject the term u. Since I can find the whole term 2as connected with the u square as a plus value, so I take the entire term to the other side of the equation, then it becomes a negative value or a minus value. So I write b square minus 2as, which is equals to u square. So as you all know, a square value, when we shift to the other side of the formula or to the equation, a square changes into square root. So this square changes into a square root. So let's say u square equal b square minus 2as. So square, when I shift, as I said, it becomes a square root. Therefore, the subject u equals to square root of b square minus 2as. This is the answer. Similarly, there are different types of questions which we comes under the chapter formula. So always we have to make sure we have to clearly observe the given term and see which term should be shifted first, second, third, and so on, based on the operators plus, minus, multiplication, division, and the square. So if I recall you again, plus value, when you change it to the other side of the equation, which becomes a minus value. Minus value when you change to the other side of the equation, which becomes a plus value. A multiplication value when you shift to the other side of the equation, which changes to a division value when you shift to the other side of the equation, which becomes a product or a multiplication, a square value when you shift to the other side of the equation, which becomes a square root. So let's look at another example. Say t equal to a L over G. So let's look at another example. T equal to a to the whole square root of L over G. In this equation or in this formula, I am going to subject the term L. So as I mentioned, we cannot first remove the terms which are inside the square root. Therefore, I must take the term 2a. So the 2a and the square root is connected as a product, or in other words, a multiplication. So when I take it to the opposite side of the equation, that becomes, or that changes into division. So I must write t over 2a equals L over G, whole thing is a square root. So now I must remove the square root. So when I remove the square root, or when I take the square root to the other side of the equation, so the new formula is t over 2a, which is equals to square root of L over G. So now I must take the square root to the other side of the equation. So when I take the square root to the other side of the equation, the whole terms changes to a square, because square root, when you take to the other side, it becomes a square. So t over 2a, the whole term changes to square on the left side, which is equal to L over G. Since I need to subject L in this given formula, now only one term is remained for me to shift, which is G. L and G connected as a division. This line represents a division. So G, when I shift to the other side of the equation, division changes into multiplication. So t over 2a, whole thing is square, into G is equals to L. So now I have subjected the term L, so my answer would be L equals t over 2a, whole thing is square, into G. So this is how you subject L in this given equation, t over 2a square root of L over G. Thanks for watching this video. So we will be discussing few more questions with our next videos, and we'll be discussing substitution also on the upcoming videos. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe my videos, and leave your comments with your whatever the questions you have related to this subject. And thanks for watching.